Well, let's keep things moving. Let's get other friend of the show, Rashida Jones, for her 10th appearance on the program.
Now, let's go to the Time Crisis Hotline.
Rashida Jones, welcome back to the program for your 10th appearance.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, what a landmark moment for all of us, really.
We're in different parts of the house.
I was wondering about that.
Well, yeah, because what else are we going to do? Like share earbuds?
We've done that too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess actually, Jake, when you had Hannah on,
yeah,
you guys were just
pick
hanging.
separate rooms?
Wait, but Jake, you don't use headphones anymore, huh?
No, I'm just screaming into a laptop.
Well,
you and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I think it's good this way. First question, Rashida, have you ever heard of Duck Donuts?
Duck Donuts. Is it a donut?
It's a donut chain, roughly 100 locations in the U.S.
What? Is it like a regional heavy or something?
It's from North Carolina, but there's a couple in Southern California because we just had Winter on, you know, the Starbucking dude.
Yeah.
And so he's also really into Duck Donuts. So he's been to basically every single one. I guess their whole thing is that they make the donut on demand. So you like say what drizzle you want on it and it comes out piping hot of the machine.
Oh, it sounds incredible. He's going to have to start star ducking.
Oh, should have thought of that. I mean,
that's what I'm here for.
He basically is star ducking. Well, anyway, I had a thought before you came on. Seinfeld was saying if you should get a special prize for your 10th appearance on the program. And my idea is that Jake picks me up in his minivan and we rip down to Huntington Beach and bring
back. This sounds like your prize so far, but okay.
Me and Jake rip down in the minivan. Wait, where did he say? Is the Huntington Beach the closest one? Where's the other one? He said Irvine.
All OC.
Maybe Irvine's cooler. Me and Jake get in the van, rip down to Irvine, and bring back a piping hot duck donut, any style that you want. We'll get one for Hannah too.
How many is a baker's dozen?
13.
Oh, 13. Okay. So it should be like a Rashida dozen. It should just be 10 for every appearance.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Although we asked Winter that apparently if you want to get like a big batch for like, you know, the office breakfast
takes like
or
4
something.
hours.
Basically, they have to still make them one at a time. All right. Me and Jake are going to rip back to LA with 10. You can have 2. Hannah can have 2.
As the sun goes down.
Yeah. Just an all-day star ducking trip.
This is like a very romantic Jack Kerouac road trip. But we get the hot donuts. By the time we get back to LA,
that's what I was going to say. This is a bum deal because there's no way, there's no universe in which you two don't get your own donuts. And just by the sheer fact that you're going to be there, you're getting the best, freshest vibe.
Well, hold on. Jake, when you worked at Papa John's, what was the tech like for keeping the pizzas hot?
Yeah, you have like special. There's like a thermal bag.
I'll lace you with a thermal bag, and then I'll get you a pizza bag. We'll stick the ducks in there.
I bet there's even like high-end ones where you can plug into the cigarette lighter.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great Christmas present if you can source that. I would love that because I have that for like a coffee cup where you plug it in the lighter. So cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And it keeps the coffee hot?
I'm really not trying to brag, but I did get it at the East Wing gift shop at the White House like a decade ago.
Oh, that time when you were visiting Donald and Melania.
10 years ago?
No, that was 2 years ago.
I laughed too hard.
It was 2 years ago. You don't have to.
My dear friends, Donald and Melania.
Well, first things first, you got new film out there, On the Rocks. It's going to be very difficult for me to ask any questions about it because I've been watching you do press for a few months.
Cool.
But,
all right, nice to see you guys.
I'll say that
the interview's over.
Yeah, maybe Jake should take over.
That Hannah and I drove out to the drive-in movie theater in City of Industry, California, and watched On the Rocks at a drive-in with probably like 50 other cars. It was pretty packed. People were psyched to see it. We had a great time at the movies that night.
That's awesome.
It was a really fun movie. Now I feel like I'm on the spot. I don't have any like cool questions, but...
Well, the actual premiere was also at a drive-in. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, where was that?
In New York, at the what is like the Queen's Science Hall? Is that what it's called? Hall of Science.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
That's
up by,
right,
like,
you
And so-
the World's Fair.
Was it
area.
pretty strict, or everyone stayed in their cars, or?
It was very strict. Yeah, we were allowed to get out and talk to like the organizer with masks, and then we had to get back into our cars, and everybody had to stay in their cars. But you know what I really liked about the? I've never been to a drive-in. I know that's crazy, but I'd never been to a drive-in. I like that people, because you can't applaud, so I like honking as a substitute for applause. I thought that was so cool.
Then you're just like waving to
Yeah.
Sofia Coppola and Bill Murray in their cars.
Oh, we were all in the same car. We got tested and we came together. Sophia and her husband and me and Bill were in one car, which was fun because Bill hadn't really seen the movie, and Sophia and I were just gabbing, and he very much wanted us to be quiet because he really wanted to watch it because he hadn't seen it yet. Yeah.
Right, because Sophia had seen it a million times. You'd probably seen it 4 or 5 times, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's wild that you were watching with him for the first time.
I
So
thought
just-
it looked great. I thought you were both really great. I loved the like whole vibe between you two in these like fancy Soho places. It made me miss like being like, oh damn,
I know.
going out to like a restaurant in New York.
I
looked
know.
fun.
It was kind of an unintentional obit for whatever version of New York that was. For it will be slightly different when we,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you were just saying the other day how one of the classic New York restaurants that you guys go to in the movie, the 21
Yeah.
Club, just announced it's closing, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Been there forever.
That's the restaurant where we go. We're sitting at Bogart and Bacall's table. I don't know if that made it in the movie, but he tells me a story about how I think he like proposed to her or something there. But anyway, it's a real historic place, and yeah, just gone.
Well, everybody should see On the Rocks. Great movie. Sophia Coppola
Streaming.
directed it. Yeah, it's streaming on Apple.
Yeah.
Real Apple household.
I have a question about Bill Murray. Had you met him before?
Yes, we're friends. I think
Okay,
we're
so you-
friends. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I think of him as like he's so many like iconic roles over the years, and I wouldn't be able to help myself asking about like Ghostbusters.
Right.
In a situation like that, do you have that urge, or do you like?
Of course I do.
or
Yeah.
Do you not do it, or do you?
No,
do it?
yeah. No, I don't do it because I was trying to play cool, you know? Also, we spent so much time together that will just volunteer stories. And that's like the best way to
Right.
get those stories anyway,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
Right.
And then you'll get stories that you didn't even ask for, you know, things you didn't think all of a sudden you care, you know? Like he told me the story about how he became Garfield, which I didn't know, but I guess some people know the story already, but he was sent this offer to play the voice of Garfield and was told that Joel Coen was the director. And he was like, yeah, Coen Brothers Garfield? Yes. And showed up to the studio that day and met Joel Coen, the director of Garfield, not Joel Coen without an H. And he was like, well, I'm here, so I guess I'm just going to do it.
He just felt too
That's
too
amazing.
awkward at that point.
So he like thought he was in a Coen Brothers movie, and then never talked to them before showing up to.
But that's
film.
that's very him. Like he did an episode of Angie Tribeca, and after he said yes, it was very touch and go about whether or not he was going to show up. And he called me and told me what JetBlue flight he wanted to be on, and then was, you know, like somebody will come get me. And we're like, yeah, get you. But it was not until the day before that I really thought that he was going to show up. You know, he's infamously like he has no
he
agent.
doesn't have a phone or
He
something.
doesn't. He has a phone, but he doesn't really answer it that much. When I first met Sophia, I was in an acting workshop, and she was workshopping Lost in Translation, and I was playing the Scarlett Johansson part, and another actor is playing the Bill part. We were like working on it all day long for like a month, and there was a dedicated intern who was hired to sit outside our sessions and wait for Bill to call. They just had the phone in their hand, waiting for him to call. So,
Wow.
Just because if they missed it, that was that.
yeah.
Considering all the Garfield talk lately, with Garfield Eats, the restaurant that recently closed in Toronto, have you ever seen the Bill Murray Garfield movie?
No, I haven't, but I should because I'm a huge Garfield fan.
And a Bill Murray fan. All right, let's watch that tonight.
All right.
That's what I propose for your 10th episode party, is we're going to watch the Garfield movie.
You guys are wilding out.
Getting real wild.
Deep into quarantine.
Maybe it's time to get into some music talk.
Totally.
Just because I wasn't totally sure we were going to talk about, threw out some ideas to you, Rashida, one of which was you should listen to Europe 72. Did you listen to it?
I listened to some of it, yeah.
How far did you get?
I got to, what's my song? It's my favorite Grateful Dead song.
Oh,
One
China
More
Cat
Saturday
Sunflower.
Yeah, no. Ezra's right. Wait, what's it called, Ezra?
China Cat Sunflower.
China Cat Sunflower, yeah. Because it was like, that's when I was like, oh, my jam. I'm like, oh, it actually is my jam. So I probably didn't get
that's
very
tight.
far, right?
That's like maybe 6 songs in or something.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's cool. Because actually, I'm sure we've had many versions of this conversation in person. But I did kind of want to remember, like, what is your relationship to the Grateful Dead?
Every guest on the show, Ezra's like,
Look,
what is your
I know the
relationship?
Grateful Dead. I know Time Crisis. I know Rashida. I know there's not a ton of Rashida Dead content out there. So let's set the record straight.
You're right. This is an exclusive. I remember you're going to think this is crazy, but my first exposure, because as you know very well, I was raised on R&B and jazz and hip hop and like, you know, a little bit of Steely Dan and Doobie Brothers. That hit that they had that had a video.
Oh, Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey. That was the first time I was like, oh, I know that they're like a band that was like really big and not in this era. I don't understand what's happening, but I like the song is catchy, and I remember it's on VH1 a lot.
Sure.
Great song.
Great song. And
Great
by
song,
the way,
fun
like,
video.
there's some phases that Ezra goes through where I'm like, I can't wait for this to be over. His love of the Dead, we'll get into that, but I'm very, very supportive because it is dynamic and the musicianship is very good and the live performances are really good. And Jerry's just like, he's very soulful. He's a very soulful person. Even if his voice, he's not like, you know, he's not an opera singer, but he just brings like meaning and honesty in the way that he sings. So I'm always down to watch him.
I'll also say, because you might not remember, but I've noticed that you've always flagged China Cat Sunflower as your favorite, and I'm pretty sure your other favorite, because I've just noticed you ask a lot, like if you're listening to an instrumental version of it, you feel like you perk up a little bit, or you like say, wait, is this the Dead? You always say that about Eyes of the World. Do you remember that one? It's kind of like, throw on Eyes of the World. Jake, how many times has Richard Pictures played Eyes?
Oh, yeah.
17.
Really?
No, just making that. But yeah, it's a classic.
Right outside this lazy summer home.
Yeah, I like the song. Yeah. This is a jam.
It's such a unique song. Like, very little truly sounds like it, even within the Dead catalog. First time in the media, Rashida Jones top 2 Grateful Dead songs.
It's good. This is going to be a headline, you guys. People are dying for this content.
Look, if any of our friends at Relics are listening to this, because we got some press when we had Bob Weir on recently.
Right.
That made some of the jam band outlets, you know, maybe just like a little thing.